Hey guys, so my name is Alicia, and if you didn't know, I sell secondhand clothing on the apps Depop, Poshmark, and Vinted, and every month I make a video talking about what I sold and how much money I made. So today we're going to be talking about what sold in the month of December 2021. So December actually surprisingly ended up being a really good month for me. I actually ended up selling 31 items in total across all the platforms, which is very high for me. So I ended up selling 6 items on Depop, 14 items on Poshmark, 1 item on Vinted, and 10 items on Instagram. So Poshmark was my top seller of this month, which is kind of how it's been going recently. Poshmark's kind of been like my most reliable selling platform recently. But as you can see, I actually made quite a few sales on Instagram as well. And that's because this month I actually had a pop-up at the hippie holiday market. And because of that, a lot of people ended up purchasing some things afterwards through my Instagram, but I will eventually get to that. And I did actually end up making 1 sale on Vinted this month. Vinted has been a little bit slow for me just because I don't have as much stuff listed on there. So I'm really going to try and focus on cross-listing everything to my Vinted very soon. But just keep that in mind, that's probably why I only sold 1 thing on Vinted. So before we get into it, I just want to remind you guys that I do have my own clothing pickup service. So a lot of the items that I get, I do receive at no cost. So unless otherwise stated, just assume there's no cost associated with each item. But without further ado, this is what ended up selling in the month of December. Alright, so the very first thing that I ended up selling this month was on Poshmark, and it was actually a bundle, so a really great start to the month. I ended up selling this Mecca jeans varsity sweater, this Adidas black crop top, and this KGMR black 90s baby tee. I think it's really funny because all of these items I actually picked up from the Orifice market, so I just thought that was kind of funny that they all sold together in a bundle. But I'm so happy that I finally sold this Mecca jean sweater because I've been selling it for quite a while, not gonna lie. And I feel like it's such a cute sweater. Like, I'm surprised that it took this long to sell. So I was glad to finally see it go. So I ended up selling that bundle for $45. And because I did pick up all of these items from the Orifice market, I did have to pay for them. I was paying by the pound though, so everything was relatively very cheap. So for all those items, I actually only paid $5.57, which is really great. So then at the end of the day, after all of Poshmark's fees and everything, I ended up making $29.26. And if you guys didn't know, my goal profit is to always make at least $10 per item. So with this, I basically met my goal because 29 divided by 3 is basically comes out to $10 per item. So I was really happy with that. I think that was totally fair, especially to finally get rid of that sweater and still make a pretty decent profit on it. I was happy. So then next on Poshmark, I actually sold these Aldo cheetah print flats. I actually ended up selling them for $17. And at the end of the day, I made $12.53, which I was really happy with because these shoes I'd also been selling for quite a while, so I was happy to see them go. Next on Poshmark, I sold this Eddie Bauer green polo shirt. This one had also been listed for quite a while, and I was kind of like thinking maybe this item's like a little bit too basic, a little too plain to sell. So I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that it did eventually sell. I ended up selling it for $15. So at the end of the day, I made $10.53, which I was really happy about. Thought that was totally fair for just like a basic polo t-shirt. So then next I made my first Depop sale of the month, and it was these black and white striped tights. I definitely saw the potential in these. Like, I could totally see these with kind of like an e-girl goth type look, and that's kind of what I advertise them as. They were getting quite a bit of likes, so I'm glad that they did finally eventually sell. I ended up selling them for $15 plus $10 shipping. Shipping ended up being $15.49, and then at the end of the day, after all of Depop's fees and everything, I ended up making $5.98. So not a huge profit, probably one of my smallest profits of the month, but for a pair of tights, like, I really couldn't charge any more for them. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that somebody actually ended up paying $15 plus $10 shipping for them. But yes, just for like a simple pair of tights, I was totally okay with making like $5 off of them. So next on Depop, I ended up selling a bundle of these Levi's black cutoff denim shorts and these Levi's distressed denim shorts. So kind of surprising that 2 pairs of shorts sold in December, but this is not the first time I've sold shorts in the winter. I feel like it happens to me like every year basically, and I'm not sure if it's people going on vacation so they're shopping for that, or they just see like a good deal so they like want to buy it now for the summer. So that's why I would recommend to list these kind of items all year round, because for one, you never know, it might sell off season, and for two, once that season does come up, you'll already be prepared and have like summer inventory for summer. So if you guys watched my closet clean out video, I was actually getting rid of these in that video. So they are from my personal collection. I've had them for so long that I don't even remember what I ended up paying for them. But I ended up selling that bundle for $59.98. So at the end of the day, I ended up making $41.80. So I was really happy with that. That's about $20 per pair of shorts, which is quite high of a profit margin for me. So I was really happy with that. So next on Depop, I sold another bundle. Really happy, quite a few bundles this month actually. But I ended up selling this Aloha Sunday blue button up and this Teddy Fresh baseball cap. So the Teddy Fresh hat was definitely the item that sealed the deal for this bundle. I think it ended up selling like the same day or the day after that I listed it. If you guys know me, I love Teddy Fresh, but I actually already have a Teddy Fresh hat, and this hat in particular, I wasn't really in love with the colors, so that's why I decided to sell it. And I'm really glad that this blue button up actually ended up selling, because I've had it listed for quite a while. I was kind of at the point where I was probably going to get rid of it soon. So very happy to see that go. But I ended up selling that bundle for $54.98. So then at the end of the day, I ended up making $33.53, which of course I was really happy about. I feel like this month I definitely focused more on increasing my profit margins per item. And I feel like that's really going to be contributing to having higher sales this month, but we're gonna find out at the end. So then next on Poshmark, I sold this One State cold shoulder knit sweater. I think somebody sent me an offer for $55, and I thought that was totally fair, really good, so I decided to accept it. And at the end of the day, I made $42.57. So that is an incredible profit margin for just a single item. And that wasn't even my highest profit margin of the month, which is really exciting. So obviously I was very happy that that sold for that price. So I'm not going to be including the items that I actually sold at the hippie market. If you guys want to watch that video, I will leave it linked. But afterwards, I did sell some inventory through Instagram that was left over from the hippie market. So I am going to include those items. So through Instagram, I ended up selling 4 dog bandanas and 2 scrunchies to one of my customers. So in total, I ended up getting $50 for that. Because I'm selling these items through Instagram and because they are so small, I decided that I would ship letter mail because it's just gonna be so much cheaper. And if there were a problem and these items got lost or something like that, because I'm independently selling through Instagram, I would be able to handle that and I wouldn't have to risk, Depop or Poshmark automatically refunding the customer. I could just arrange that myself or just send them more items. So that's why I was comfortable with shipping letter mail for these, which normally I don't. But anyways, the letter mail shipping ended up costing $3.60. So at the end of the day, I ended up making $46.40. Now you guys might be wondering if this includes like the cost of materials. And because I thrift all my materials and I get them for so cheap already, and I make so much inventory out of, a single bed sheet that I do buy, I don't bother calculating it because it's just like such a small increment. I just add it to my expenses like separately, if you guys were wondering. So next I made a sale on Poshmark and I ended up selling this Tommy Hilfiger striped sweater dress. I think somebody sent me an offer for $20 and this dress did not have any interest on it previously, so I was happy to accept that. So at the end of the day, I ended up making $15.48, which is still a really great profit for one item. So then next on Instagram, I actually ended up selling one of my reworked jackets. If you guys watched my holiday market video, you know that I was kind of disappointed that I didn't actually sell any of my jackets at the market, but someone who was there and saw my jacket actually decided to purchase it afterwards through Instagram. So I was so incredibly happy about that. So the one I ended up selling was this kind of like zip up denim jacket, and I just reworked it with these really cute like Polo Ralph Lauren pattern. So I ended up actually selling that for $70 because it was paid through e-transfer on Instagram. I obviously didn't have to pay any fees, which was amazing. I did, however, pay for this jacket. I picked it up from the thrift store and it did cost me $18.06. So at the end of the day, I made $51.94. which I believe is technically my highest profit margin of the month. So obviously I was extremely happy about that and extremely happy to see that one of my jackets sold because I had 3 in the works at the time. Usually I have like 1 at a time, and then once one sells, I make another one. So having 3 was like kind of making me a little bit nervous. So I was really happy to see that one kind of move. So then next on Depop, I sold this green wool knit cropped sweater. This one did not take long to sell at all. I think it sold within a week of me posting it, maybe even sooner. So I ended up selling that one for $39.99 plus $10 shipping. So at the end of the day, I made $29.39, which was great. Then next on Poshmark, I sold these Roots Gray Spell Out sweatpants. These really did not take long to sell either. Someone actually sent me an offer for $20 and I accepted it. So at the end of the day, I ended up making $15.48. Then next on Poshmark, I sold these the Stunner skinny jeans. I'm really proud of the sale because I actually picked up these pants from the thrift store. And when I saw the kind of like M stitching on the back pocket, I was like, wait a second, I've seen these pants before and I feel like they're like really expensive. So when I did like a quick Google search, I realized they are like $300 jeans and the thrift store is selling them for only like $6. So that was a really easy decision to make. And of course I picked them up. I had them listed for quite high. I think I had them listed for like $125 and they were getting a lot of interest, but people weren't really, I think they were just a little bit too expensive. So eventually someone did send me an offer for $75, which honestly, I thought that was totally fair. And at the end of the day, I ended up making $51.85. So that was obviously an amazing profit, especially for something that I had purchased at the thrift store. Usually I tend to make a lower profit off of those items just because I do have to pay quite a bit for them. So I was really proud of that because that basically tied with my highest profit of the month. So then next on Poshmark, I ended up selling these Levi's orange tab denim zip skirt. I was so happy to finally see these go because I picked them up from the thrift store quite a while ago. I think I originally bought them for myself, but they didn't end up fitting, so I was like, oh, I'll just sell it, like this will sell quickly. But they took like over a year to sell basically. So when somebody sent me an offer for $20, I jumped on that chance and accepted it. I did pay $11.28 for this item, which was a little bit pricey. So at the end of the day, I only made $4.20, which I believe is my lowest profit margin of the month. But at this point, I honestly was just trying to get rid of this skirt, and the fact that I made any profit at all, I was totally happy with. So then I made my first and only Vinted sale of the month, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that another one of my reworked jackets sold. So that was really exciting for two of them to sell in a single month. And I was especially surprised to see it sell on Vinted because Vinted is more designed for selling like your own clothes that you're just trying to get rid of, so like relatively cheaper things. So I was really surprised to see this sell. Somebody actually sent me an offer for $70, and because you don't have to pay any fees on Vinted, I was like, that is totally fair, so I accepted it. Now, I did originally pick up this jacket off of Poshmark, and it cost me $25 including shipping. And then the little kind of like teddy bear print I picked up from a market for $5. So technically I paid $30.24 in total. So at the end of the day, I made $39.76, which still I was super, super happy with. And I was glad to finally see this one go because I think it had been in my, I think it was my oldest jacket out of all of them. Then next I made another sale through Instagram and I sold a couple more of my pet bandanas. I actually was selling them to a friend, so I didn't even have to pay for shipping because I just gave it to them. So I ended up making $20 for that sale, which was really good. Then on Poshmark, I ended up selling these Bugle Boy vintage overalls. I was so excited when I found these in the thrift store because I just thought they were so cool, so unique. I knew for sure they were gonna sell. And I picked them up for like $6, which is an amazing price. Like you barely find anything for that cheap at the thrift store, especially overalls. Now what I didn't notice about these is that they were actually missing like the hardware on one of the straps. So I did have to purchase some new ones on Amazon and like, you know, fix them up. But that ended up being relatively cheap. So overall, I only invested $11.66 for both the overalls and the hardware. So it still ended up being pretty cheap. So I actually ended up accepting an offer for $40 for these. So at the end of the day, I made $19.30. So really, really happy with that. I think that's a really good profit. I think if I waited a little bit longer, I probably could have made a little bit more, but I thought that was a fair deal. And I definitely wanted to make a few more sales at the end of this month because I was kind of on a bit of a roll. So that's why I accepted the offer. And then lastly, today on Poshmark, I'm actually filming this on New Year's Eve. So today is the very last day of the month. I actually sold a bundle of these 3 shoes. So I sold these Massimo Dutti burgundy pumps, these Massimo Dutti black Chelsea boots, and these Massimo Dutti brown snake print heels. So these have been in my inventory for quite a while. They are all a size 5.5, which is quite small, which is why I think no one was really as interested in them. So when this person sent me an offer for $45 for this whole bundle, I was happy to accept that because I thought that was a totally fair price, and it's just nice to get rid of all 3 of those at once. What's interesting with these is they've been on my shop for a while, and I very recently decided to experiment with copying your Poshmark listings. So it's basically when you just create a copy of it and then delete the old one, so it's kind of like a brand new listing. So I don't know if it's a coincidence or it's because I did that these ended up selling, but I just thought that'd be interesting to mention. But at the end of the day, I ended up making $34.83 for all 3 pairs of these heels, which means I made a little bit over $10 per item, which I was totally happy with. I'm glad this person with the 5.5 size foot was able to get like a really good deal on all these because no one else was interested. So I thought those were my final sales of the month, but I literally just accepted another offer now on Poshmark. But just now I ended up selling this Grateful Dead bear tee. Somebody sent me an offer for $20. And I think that's totally fair for a t-shirt, so I accepted it. And after all of Poshmark's fees and everything, I'm going to be making $15.48 for this t-shirt. So who knows, I might end up making even more sales today before this month is over. But I wanted to film this for you guys today so that I could get it out to you tomorrow on the 1st of the month. So with that being said, let's calculate all the sales that I've made so far for this month. Alright guys, so this month I actually ended up making $520.31. So this was an incredible month, one of my highest months ever. I think this past spring I made like $600 in one month, so this is coming really close. And that's not even counting all the sales I made at the hippie market, so this has been a really good month for me. And I'm honestly pleasantly surprised because I don't know, I wasn't sure what to expect. And as always, I did go ahead and calculate the average I made per item, and that ended up being $16.25. So that's great. It's higher than my goal, which is $10 technically. So I'm very happy about that. What a great end to the year. I'm gonna try to like channel this energy into 2022. And I think this year I'm really going to be focusing a lot more on consistently bringing inventory into my closet and continuing to strive for bigger profit margins because, you know, clearly it is possible. I just think I have to be a little bit more patient and kind of be listing the right things. So I can't wait to see what comes of 2022. I think I'm going to be making a lot more thrifting videos with you guys because I will be trying to source more inventory. So I am very excited about that. And I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody watching. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and coming back every time to watch all of my what sold videos. I'm so glad you guys like watching them. And I wish everybody the best of luck in 22 with all of you guys' shops. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week.